Hello, Dr. R. I'll be doing a voiceover of me recording myself. Right now, I am drawing and cutting out the parts of the larynx, such as the epiglottis you see right here, as well as drawing the hyoid bone. I'm drawing and cutting each part out as I go, but I'm also cutting out in the video just to speed up the process. You see here, I'm trying to measure my drawings and my cuttings with the little cylinder so that it is proportional. Right here, I am drawing the thyroid cartilage out of red foam and cutting it out as well. As I'm going, I am taking each cartilages that are next to each other or just looking at a picture to see how far or how close each one should be when I start gluing them on to the brown paper cylinder. I am drawing and cutting out the cricoid cartilage now in orange foam. And also using the trachea or the brown cylinder as a reference, looking back at now I have the epiglottis, the thyroid with me, and just going on with drawing the arytenoid cartilage now in white foam, cutting it out. And drawing the corniculate cartilage onto the arytenoid. I'm now drawing the posterior cricoarytenoid in black foam and cutting it out. Now I'm going to start actually sticking the cartilages onto the brown cylinder. As you can see here, the foam that I got is actually an adhesive foam in the back, which is pretty convenient for me. I realized that my cricoid was a little bit too short, so I'm here just adding a little bit more orange foam to complete the cricoid ring. I'm now attaching the thyroid to the rest of the larynx and also folding that little piece to create that thyroid notch. I am now creating the thyroepiglottic ligament, which is going to attach to the epiglottis because that is what attaches the epiglottis to the thyroid. So there's just me attaching it to the thyroid. And now I am cutting the gray felt to make the trachea. I originally was going to have the gray color be the tracheal rings, but realizing that I cut it pretty thick, later on you'll see in the video that the brown will actually be the tracheal rings, while the gray will just actually be the trachea. I'm now trying to create the thyrohyoid membrane and just kind of trying to attach it and measure out between the hyoid and thyroid bone. This is the membrane that connects the two. And now I'm creating the cricothyroid in green foam, attaching it to the larynx. Now I'm attaching the cricothyroid ligament. This is the one that's between the thyroid and cricoid. It is also in yellow, but it is not the same as the cricothyroid ligament. In green pipe cleaner is the lateral cricoarytenoid, which I'll be attaching right now. The pipe cleaners were a little bit tricky to use with hot glue. I had to snip a little bit off, but was able to put it inside. There's one of the lateral cricoarytenoids, and I'm about to attach the second one right now. Now I'm attaching the thyroarytenoids in purple and yellow pipe cleaners. The purple square I'm cutting out is the transverse arytenoid that is going to go in the back of the larynx. I'm adjusting the arytenoid cartilage in size, as well as coloring the corniculate cartilage in blue, since it does articulate with the arytenoid. I am putting the arytenoid cartilage on the cricoid cartilage, and I will start the oblique arytenoids in red pipe cleaner. I'm just pushing the hot glue onto the red pipe cleaner using a blue pen because it is pretty hot and I don't want to burn my fingers. Now that I have the oblique arytenoids on, I am going to put the posterior cricoarytenoids. Now I'm just going to work on my base where I'm going to put my larynx model on. It's just a box I folded up. I'm cutting out a hole to put my larynx in. And later on in this video, you'll see me start working on a paper that I will put on top so that it's not just white. This is the orange paper that I was talking about earlier. I'm just measuring out so that it measures with the box and then cutting out the paper. And measuring the hole that I will need to cut out for the box and the larynx. Once I'm done cutting out the circle, I'm going to start writing the legend, which is all the cartilages, bones, muscles, and connective tissue that is required. I'm also going to number my larynx model to correspond with the legend I just created. Here, I'm just putting tape onto the box so that I could tape on the paper that I just created with the legend. I'm now numbering my model, my larynx model, to correspond with the legend I created. Just looking back and forth to double check that I got the correct part. I had to add epithelium and connective tissues because I forgot to add it to the legend as I was writing it earlier. Now that I'm done writing, I'm just going to double check that the larynx fits. And I'm going to explain what each part is in the larynx model. So now that I have completed my larynx model, numbered them as well as the legend, I will go over what I just built and what each part is. To start, we have the arytenoids with the corniculate in blue, and the arytenoids are connected, attached to the cricoid, which is cricoid cartilage, which is a ring in orange. We then have the epiglottis, and what attaches the epiglottis is the thyroepiglottic ligament in yellow right here. We then have the thyroid and in red, and we have the superior cornu and inferior cornu, as well as the thyroid notch. We have the hyoid bone, and the hyoid bone and the thyroid are connected by the thyroid membrane, which is in yellow. This is also in yellow, but it's actually the cricoid thyroid ligament. We also have tracheal rings that are in brown, and in the cricothyroids in green right here. When we move to the back, we have the posterior cricoarytenoids, the transverse arytenoids in purple, the oblique arytenoids in red, that's cross, and then connecting it is also, well, not connecting it, but it should be connected to the obliques, is the lateral cricoarytenoids, and we also have the thyroarytenoids in yellow and purple, which is the thyrovocalis and the thyromuscularis. So I'm going to attach this here. Thank you.